Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Rental Store. Thank you for joining us on episode 265 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom, here with Trevor and Damon. We got
Tom
Damon
says
2
he
weeks
has
in
to
a
keep
row.
it short today, so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there's this thing that happens every week where my wife is like, hey, can you try to keep it short this week? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll keep it short this week. And then like
Just
an hour
put me
and
in charge.
a half.
I'll keep it short every week.
Well, it's a running joke. Every time I tell her you're going to keep it short, she's like, no, you're not. You can try all you
that's
want.
probably true.
My wife just always says, see you in 2 hours, regardless.
Well,
she always assumes we're going to do a 2-hour episode.
to be fair, some of the 2 hours is not spent doing the podcast. It's us
That's
talking
true.
Before the show, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we do actually spend some time here to do some planning before the show.
There's not a lot on here anyway, to be honest with you, this week.
it's not that busy of a week, no.
So,
So,
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I was in Virginia Beach yesterday for the day.
Virginia Beach, okay. Just for
Yeah,
the day? How long of a drive is that for the day?
Man, it's pretty far. So it took us about 3 hours, 45 minutes to get there. Maybe
I thought it'd
4
be worse
hours.
than that, actually. I thought it'd be worse than that. So that's
So it really, in reality, if there's no traffic, it's like 3:19, but there's no way, right? There's not going to be traffic going to the beach. So my son was playing in that sand soccer tournament. I guess it's the biggest one in the U.S. And I was not prepared. Like, you know, when they say, oh, there's going to be 100,000 plus people there and 11,000 people competing, I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then we showed up and it was like, oh yeah, like there's a lot of people here. It's pretty interesting. I guess there's a pro league. There's all different divisions. So, right, you have kids that are like barely able to walk. They were just crawling last year with the soccer ball playing, and then it goes up to collegiate, and then there's professional after that as well. So it was pretty interesting. I took pictures, but as I was telling people, like, I need a game to take pictures to like dial into what I need. And he was only playing 2 games that day. And the first one was at 9:50. There's no way we're making that. So we ended up going, but it turned into a whole big thing because I made my daughter come with me because I didn't want to go by myself. And it was,
come with you.
oh, absolutely. There was all of Maid. It wasn't like, hey, you know, do you want to? It was like, hey, I need somebody to come because my wife was picking up her father from the airport. Whew, we had some good food, though. I'm always about, right, good restaurants. So I guess there's this place called Clayton's at Virginia Beach. Well worth it, even though we had to wait so long. We waited so long that our parking ran out, and I had to go get the car. And it was my daughter's first time, like, dealing with stuff by herself. So I was like, listen, I got to leave. Like, our food's not even here yet. You need to tell them to bag it up. Here's the credit card. Pay for it. Add a tip. And she was, like, all out of sorts for that. So then... And she left and they didn't give her the credit card back. So she had to go back. I'm driving around the block. And then we wanted ice cream. And we go to get ice cream. And that turned into a thing because I guess the place we thought it wasn't the place. And she asked for something that wasn't on the menu. And it was a disaster. But it was still fun, though. It was a fun day. And this is though, what I want to say. Because this has been bugging me for a while, at least since about a week or so. Listen, parents, if you have the opportunity to do something, you know, see your kids do something, dude, go do it. Like, yeah, that was a rough day, but I wouldn't trade that. And I've been seeing more and more people that I'm air quoting over here, take their hobbies way too serious and miss their kids' stuff for their personal hobbies. No, you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it.
I'm there with you, Damon. It's
They
your
don't
kid's stuff is
understand.
like, you need to show up for your kid's stuff. Absolutely.
And listen, if it's like work, that's different. But if it's your hobby, yeah, like, dude, dial in a little bit.
I don't know. I've even told work to pound sand so I could go do stuff with my kid. So
Yeah.
I mean, within reason, of course. You know, like I've actually been in a position where they were like, "Hey, can you work this weekend?" And I'm like, no, I have plans. Like,
and as your kids get older, like I said, I mean, I'm on kind of the end part of it. And again, like I still, like, well, my son's 20. And I still was like, all right, I'm going to go for one game. I'm going to drive 8 hours in the car to watch 33 minutes of a soccer game. But like, that's just it, man. Like, I don't ever want to have those regrets because you can't get them back, and time is goes quick. Like everyone says it. Everyone will tell you, Tom, it's going to go quick with your daughter. You're not going to believe them. It doesn't matter what you think.
No,
Like,
I believe it. I'm there.
It goes quicker than you can fathom.
Yeah.
Like she'll be going to high school and you'll be like, wait, what? So I'm just saying for me personally, I haven't missed much. I put it to you that way. I haven't missed much, but like I always go. And then the other thing is, take pictures. I see so many people that want to, like, I get living in the moment and I don't deny that. And again, like at the parks, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about at like your kids' events, and I get living in the moment. But the problem is as you get older, you seem to forget those moments, right? Like my daughter was telling me something recently and I was like, honestly, I really don't remember that. Like, so I think having these pictures, like even if the pictures are not great, like there's some pictures that we have that like we crack up about and they're blurry and it doesn't even matter, right? It's not like I'm telling you got to go out and get a camera and be a professional photographer, but like just taking that picture, that quick little picture, and then refocusing back on what your kid is doing makes all the difference in the world. I just felt like there's something that's been bothering me recently, and not bothering me for myself because I know that like I've done all that, right? But just like for other people, I see stuff and I'm just like, you're messing up, man. Like you're messing up.
Hold on. I want to go in a little bit on your picture comment real quick. Is taking, like, I agree. You know, I've snapped a ton of pictures of my kid throughout all of the activities he's done growing up and at Disney and everything. But the one thing that I learned this kind of the hard way too is don't evolve that into being the parent taking the video, because
pictures, I don't care for that.
Yeah. So the pictures absolutely, like you said, you know, it's very quick. You know, you pull out your phone, you snap some pictures. Like you said, they don't have to be perfect, but as soon as you start taking a video, and this ties back into Disney as well, because I've seen a couple of I've seen some Reddit threads and I've seen some Facebook posts talking about this, and it really annoys me too, because you know, when it's the same thing at Disney or not at Disney, that there's people that like they pull out their phone and like they're recording the fireworks, they're recording something, and it's like you're missing the moment if you're recording the video.
And I would say that I would agree with that. So for the fireworks, absolutely, right? No one's ever going to watch them again. And if they do, so be it. You could watch them online. If you're recording something your kid's doing, the only thing I would say there is that try to record it without being behind the screen, right? That's what I've started to find is like when I was recording some of my son's soccer games or a swim meet, like my head's not behind the screen. I'm getting to the point where I was getting to the point where like, hey, okay, my camera's going to go right here, and then I'm going to watch at the same time. And that's okay. But I agree. Certain things, it's, not working.
I would always like hold it against my chest, because then it's like I have the positioning, and it's like, you know that it's pointing the direction you're looking. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's like then same thing is it's like
perfect.
Yeah. I realize that it's like you don't need to completely take yourself out of the moment because you're busy trying to make sure that it's in frame and you're catching everything and all that. And it's
I tell you, some of our favorite pictures are some blurry pictures. And for us now, we're up to about 190,000 pictures, right, that I have on my Amazon account, which is a lot. I get it. But what I find so funny is like, you'll see a lot of the same pictures, but then like all of a sudden we've switched all our TVs to Fire Stick specifically so that we can see the pictures and stuff. And I'll see one and be like, I don't even remember that, but then it will start to come back a little bit. That memory would have been absolutely wiped forever had I not had that one picture. So I don't know. I just been on a little bit of a rant lately. So there we go.
I get you, man.
To your point, my weekend was spent at a dance recital yesterday with my daughter's dance recital. So I was the parent that was recording, but I did exactly what you said. I kind of held my phone up to record her, her dance, and then I was watching. I wasn't watching through the phone. You know what I mean?
Well,
of course I was going to record it though,
Yeah. And Tom, I'll tell you, we love those. What started to happen as they get a little bit older, like because my son did breakdancing for a while and hip hop dance for a while, they'll start to record them for you. Now you're putting out money, but so what? At the end of the day, that's pretty good too.
Yeah. No, it was.
But when they're younger, they're going to love rewatching those. Like my kids love rewatching. So, at 18 and 20 years old, they love going back and rewatching that stuff from like 6.
Yeah, I mean, because we even do that with my daughter now, who's 6, and we'll watch stuff from her when she was like a baby.
6, that's crazy.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
that my
That's what I'm
daughter's
saying.
6.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
6. I had her
you're
still
right.
at like 2, 3, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, because if you think about it, like right when we started doing the show, she was just born. Like, so it's
Yeah.
weird that it's been that long.
See, I don't think about it like that. In my head, you didn't have a daughter when we started the show, and then like
Yeah.
whatever that time frame is between start a show and Tom's daughter seems like it's kind of large, but obviously it's not. But to me, it seems large.
It seemed like we had done the show for like an exceptionally long time before you had your
Yes,
daughter.
that's what I feel like. But 6, that's crazy.
But yeah, I know it's same thing as we've known your daughter longer than we've known the show at this point.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
or yeah, no, that's
About the
not right.
same.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, I know what you mean.
it's weird. Like we don't. I same thing. I kind of look at it and go like, oh yeah, your daughter, like it took me a while to kind of grasp, like when you said like your daughter was going to school and stuff, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
whoa, like that's
Well, she
that's
just, quote unquote, graduated from kindergarten, and now she's, first grade is next year, and it's like, wow, happens fast, like you said, Damon, and you're right. You don't believe it until it actually happens, and then you're like, how did we get to 6? Even we did like the little comparison photo of like the first day of kindergarten and the last day of kindergarten, like that everybody does, and like my daughter's so much bigger, just in that short period of time of kindergarten, and it's just
Absolutely.
it's crazy to watch, so.
And I don't think you were here when I mentioned this last time, Damon, but I realized that how you've been talking about, with your sons going off to college and everything, and now your daughter's coming up, is I'm actually on the fast track of that, where because I only have my one son, we're hitting that point now where like he's in high school. We're already starting to talk about like post high school stuff.
Is
what's
he second?
next.
He's going into a second year or going into his third year?
He's going into his second year. So,
Okay.
but like these conversations are starting, and my wife and I realize it's like, hey, we're going to be coming up on that point sooner than later where, we're not going to be doing the family Disney trips. Like he's going to be doing his own thing, or we're going to be bringing, a girlfriend or whatever. Right.
Well, I don't even care. I don't even care about that part, but it's just the factoring of the trip. So the only thing that's been at least a little bit beneficial for us is that my oldest, who is going to be a third year in college next year, he knows he's going to grad school. So again, like selfishly, what's been nice about it is like, I know I still have 2 more years of like family vacations because he's going to go to grad school. He's going to do what Tom did, I think. He's going to take his classes from remotely. It just is going to be easier for him because his current college does not have his major as a master's. So he's a data scientist, but his college it's almost mathematical statistics data sciences. And he has to really like to get a, good job. He's got to be more comp sci, data scientist. So he's going to do his online, but, he'll do it from home. But I felt like, I'm kind of happy because now that gives me 2 more years. The only downside
buys you some time.
The only downside for us is if my daughter was in college, let's just say, we'd have this January timeframe to do vacations, because our friends that we usually go to Disney with, that's what they have, one daughter and she's in college, and they start to do January vacations. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's so smart. We can't because my daughter's still in high school.
Yeah.
Oh, the flexibility that comes with not having the kid in school. I mean, the fact that I was able to go the first week of May when pretty much everyone's still in school, you can pull your daughter out of kindergarten. Like it's kindergarten.
Well, you can pull them out,
but I can't do that later,
all the way up into high school. I felt like high school becomes tough.
That is true. Like even we've had the conversation with my son that like my wife and I are planning a trip to Disneyland, just the 2 of us, because my son has turned to us and said, we can't do the pulling me out of school for a week and go to Disney thing. It's not working for him because high school going into college, he needs to focus on that. Right. But the funny thing is like you're saying, Tom, we're going to come out the other side of this and we're going to be back in the position of, we can go any time of year again, which is funny, like how quickly it's all changing. Right.
And you're with one, it becomes a little bit more interesting because you're going to have this actual long gap. Listen, who knows? Right. But I would think that there's going to be a long gap between, work and grandkids. I think when I have like 3 staggered, that gap becomes so much smaller. Even I did see
Yeah.
a post though recently, and this got me thinking. It was funny. It was about Disney specifically. It was one of those like you see them on Facebook, and you're like, oh, I can't believe they did this sort of thing, and they kind of like clickbaity. But it was, I guess, somebody was leaving their kid with their grandparents, and they were going on vacation, like to an island or something, and the grandparents took the grandchild to Disney, and it was their first time going to Disney. And it was
Okay.
like a whole blow up situation. And I was thinking about that myself, like,
Oh,
yeah, I would never
Yeah.
just do that. I would ask, obviously.
okay. Wait. So
Yeah.
so sorry. The parents were.
The parents were going on a vacation, let's just say to the Caribbean.
Yeah. But the part I'm not understanding is, were the parents like big about Disney and they were mad that the parent or that the grandparents took the
First
grandkid to
time the kid
Disney?
went to Disney.
First time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I was going to say if parents didn't care that much about it and it was like, oh, they packed up and took the grandkid to Disney, like, cool. Like, but yeah, I guess taking away that first time though, if the parents wanted to do it.
I was very torn on that, to be honest with you. Like, I was very
Yeah,
torn.
You see, my,
You know-
my parents came with us on our first time taking my son.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I get that, they want to be involved, but yeah, they would never do the, we're just taking him and not telling you kind of thing.
I saw
funny.
that and I thought that was funny.
It's funny though too, because in a
That
way,
was a
my
short
daughter.
show going for you, by the way.
Yeah, great. It's great so far.
Yeah.
This is your fault this time, though. You got to
Mike,
stop.
This is a good conversation. I'm not stopping this.
No, I like it. No, I know it's good. It's funny though because like I said, my daughter's 6 and she's been to Disney. I don't know 3 or 4 times before this last trip that we took. But in a way, I almost felt like this trip was our first real trip with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like
I think
the other
that's
trip,
an interesting
the other
time.
trip she was aware, she just probably didn't remember any of it. And this one was like a real trip.
I'll be honest with you. Like, you think that now, but that will go away too because she's still too young. I will tell
she's
you,
still
just
young.
in hindsight, you're looking at 8 to 10. That's when
Yeah.
they'll have a discussion with you when they're older and remember things and be able to be like, oh yeah, remember when, like my daughter was like, hey, do you remember when we went on that cruise and you told me if I did this, I would get 3 desserts that night. But you know what? I only got 1 dessert and then a bite of your dessert and a bite of Mama's
you
dessert.
opened 2
And that
desserts.
wasn't fair. And I'm like, when the heck was it? Like, oh my goodness. Okay. You're surprised at what your kids remember and what they kind of put in as prime memories that you would have no idea. I would have never thought like that would have been a big deal. And I told her, right, because 14, I said, yeah, I probably thought that you would have gotten sick if you ate 3 desserts, but I never should have said that to begin with. Now, you do a lot of like apologizing as a parent once they get a little bit older.
Yeah. But yeah,
it's-
core memories are weird like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's
they
weird
have-
what you remember,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying. You got to be careful. And that's why you don't miss things, right? Full circle. That's why you don't miss things, because your kids are going to remember that. The only thing I have to go in before, I have to say something before we go to reviews. So again, everyone knows I'm super close with my kids. So my son album is finally out. He's been working on it all of high school. He'll be senior. He's graduating Monday. So go to Spotify, Nikki Caps, Defang Serpent. It's like Christian hip hop, Christian alternative rock, Christian stuff, but it's very interesting. Like I said, if everyone could give a listen, that would be thumbs up. I'm gonna post in the group too.
Right on.
But yeah, man.
Yeah, I like the picture of him with the snake. It was pretty cool.
But the pictures came out well, and like I said, that was a listener that had those snakes. So appreciate
Nice.
Molly and family as well.
All right.
That's awesome.
Well, let's actually get into the show now.
Reviews.
Right.
No, I really like
We
this
don't-
conversation though, because I think a lot
thank
of people
everyone
can
for the
relate.
reviews. I think we can just
and
do
actually,
that, right?
this review is relevant too. So
Okay.
to what we just said. So this person, and I don't think I've read this one. I hope I haven't, but it's Pal Macho is the name. Okay.
Mhm.
Been listening for a few months. Real experiences, real opinions is the title. I don't think I've read this one, right?
No,
Do you
I
guys
don't
remember
think
this
you
one?
have.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So this says some podcasts are super produced and sponsor heavy with lots of ads. This one warns you. We're going to do the ad read now, and it's a one and done. They give current info and unfiltered opinions. You have the gamut of personalities too, from one very excited, I guess that's me, and happy with a young daughter, to older and perhaps more taciturn with adult kids. I like that one. It's a good one. So that's you two. I'm the happy one, I guess. I find all the hosts relatable, and I enjoy the different perspectives. We have older kids, so I really appreciate the gamut of perspectives. I advise to give this show at least 2 to 3 listens. It may take a little bit to get into, but it's well worth it. So I like that review. I think that's that describes us very well. You know?
Yes. Yeah. I'm glad that people realize that we're keeping it real, because we're not out here trying to pretend to be something else. We're just all enjoying this conversation. So
it's funny because the one thing that stuck with me from one of the other reviews is when they said they're real people, not influencers, and like that is something that always sticks in my head, because that's what we've always tried to be, is real and not be like, fake, like, happy about stuff and do the influencer thing. Like, we're just not doing that.
Behooving to nobody. I say whatever I care to say.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right, yeah. So, thank you. I'm glad you found that to be the case, because that is what we go for. So, all right, let's talk about the Polynesian Tower a little bit more. We got some more details.
Yeah. So,
Trevor, I don't know if any of this is going to ever change your mind, but I mean, this place looks awesome to me.
Okay, it did spawn a conversation. I will say that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we watched. So we've seen they showed the interiors of the 2 bedrooms, the deluxe studio. Like they basically showed all across the board,
too.
Right?
Yeah, they have the duo studio, the 2 bedroom.
Yeah.
The 1 and 2 bedroom, and they have a new room in here, room type called 2 bedroom penthouse villas. So that's a new room type.
Those are the like crazy expensive ones that I'll never stay in anyway. But
and you can see out the window in these pictures of like you can pretty much see all of Cinderella Castle.
Yeah, you can, like, Space Mountain is in clear view in the one picture. It's like, okay, yeah, it's that room. But yeah, so my wife and I watched the video specifically of the studio, because the thing is that, like, for my family, the studio is always going to be the fit. Like, I don't see us ever going to the bigger rooms. I really like the studio layout. I'll be honest. Like, it's much nicer than the current Poly Studios, because the current Poly Studios, you can tell that it was retrofitted into the space, and there's a lot of like unused space. I like this layout. Like I said, my wife looked at it, and I could see that glimmer of like, oh, maybe. But then the conversation, the conversation came up again about like getting to and from the tower. It's kind of in a weird spot between the Grand Floridian and the Poly itself. So, and we've said before that
theoretically, though, you could just walk to the Grand Floridian. It's probably closer, actually, to walk to the Grand Floridian and take the monorail from there, right?
And that's what I said, is that, it might make more sense to just get on the monorail at the Grand Floridian. But in the past, we've not actually made much use of the monorail in going to Magic Kingdom specifically. So it's a change in thought process. And also, Damon, you're going to love this, because I said to my wife, hey, if the monorail is busy or whatever, there is the walking path back to the Grand Floridian. We could come back that way. And she was like, yeah, but I don't want to get gated. And I'm like,
I want to get gated.
Really?
I love it.
Like,
when you turn nouns into verbs, it always makes me happy.
Yeah. And she just, she was like, yeah, no, I'm not getting gated trying to get back to the room. And I'm like, fine.
They have like nets and rocks and stuff. Like it's pretty safe over there.
It should be okay. But yeah. But like I said, I really like these room layouts. And I mean, I guess the one thing I hope that comes from this is maybe once this tower is open, I know that the Poly rooms got renoed not too long ago, but I'm hoping maybe on the next round of reno that they'll actually have another look at the studios and maybe take some of the stuff that they've done from this, because I noticed they were also talking about in the video, they're going for sustainability and all that. And one of the things about it is that the kitchenette actually has a dishwasher in it, so they're not using plastic utensils anymore. Like, it's all proper cutlery and everything
for the studios.
Yeah,
which is not common for the studios. Yeah.
So I'm hoping maybe that the other studios might actually get a similar treatment in the future, but we'll see. Also, I'm not sold on the plastic carpet either.
Plastic carpet? What do you mean plastic carpet?
Did you not see that? So again, one of the things that they are advertising is that the carpet is they went to a manufacturer that takes plastic bottles and weaves it into like a fabric, and so all the carpet. So there is actual carpets in these units, but all the carpets are plastic bottles. But they say it feels very soft and everything. But I'm like,
it looks
that's
soft.
Great
From the video I'm seeing, it looks soft.
It does, but I'm thinking about upkeep and care and how easy are these going to be to clean after somebody's kid drops their drink on the carpet. Like, are they going to like? Are these going to get
shirts made out of recycled bottles though? Like I've got T-shirts that are like polo shirts that have recycled bottled stuff in them.
But is housekeeping going to be able to keep these from getting like gross? Because like it's still like a carpet, right? Like I guess my thing is in a hotel, it's like carpets are kind of a bad idea because it's just so many people coming through. But
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, we'll see how that plays out. I just that wasn't a selling point to me.
I have to say, DVC and Disney in general has gotten a lot of criticism lately for the new hotel rooms for not being as well themed in the past. I don't think you can say that about this. This might be the best themed room I've ever seen.
The designs are fantastic. Like the way that they worked in the Moana and the hidden Mickeys and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's like, I
mean, even the carpet, like everything is completely themed. Like, and they were kind of getting away from like the custom made, furniture and stuff like that for reasons I kind of understand where, it's like, okay, well, it's custom made. So if something breaks, I'm sure they have an inventory of stuff to replace it, but eventually they run out of those things because it's custom made. But like, I don't know. This room looks incredible. I mean, everything is themed really well to Moana. I mean, and really subtly too. It's not like you have like a full on like graphic detail a decal of Moana on the wall. Like that's not what they're doing here at all. It's very subtle and like I'm just watching the video and like the shape of the mirrors and the light fixtures and the design on the rug and even like they're showing the curtains now have like I'm watching the video right now has like fish on it and has like the Polynesian kind of symbols and stuff. Like it's amazing.
Yeah. They went for like symbolism and things reflective of the Polynesian and not just slapping like pictures of the castle or whatever. Like it exactly. The Moana stuff is in there as well, but like you said, it's very subtle and it's very deliberate, which I like too.
Yeah, because like even there's they show like a stingray like sculpture on the wall, and it just looks like a stingray if you don't look at it any closer. But if you look at it closer, you can eventually see Maui's hook in there, right? And you can see there's a turtle,
hidden Mickey,
and a hidden Mickey. Yeah, it's very cool. I just Oh, and now I'm looking too at the mini dishwasher that they have in the studios. Which, to your point, Trevor, I think that would be a good thing to do in all the hotel rooms if they could.
Absolutely.
In all the studios. Yeah.
I hope that like it sounds like this might be a pilot for them to do this stuff moving forward. I hope this is something that because I will say the one thing about staying in the studios that I don't like is that they give you plastic utensils and paper bowls and stuff like that, which after about the third day you're really wishing for some proper dishware because
you brought some food back to your room and tried to cut with the plastic knife and it breaks.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not great. So it would be nice to actually have some proper dishware and be able to make breakfast, use dishes and then run the dishwasher as you're heading out to the parks, and then you come back and you've got dishes and not having to I've had to do this before because we stay there for a week and you do actually they don't leave enough stuff in the room to really last more than about 4 or 5 days. And so then you're calling down going, hey, can we get some more paper plates up here or whatever? And it's like, it's not convenient.
Yeah. I'm watching the video and seeing the pictures of this, I sent them to my wife and she was like, we need to stay there. So I think our next stay is probably going to be here. Just based on the conversation. I don't know how many points it's going to be yet because I don't think they put up points charts yet. So, maybe when I see the points chart, I'll, go, and then not do it, because it's going to be a lot of points, right? It's going to be.
I'm hoping that the studios, this could be wishful thinking, but I'm hoping that the studios will line up similar to the rest of the studios in the Poly because they're joining the existing, Poly contracts, right? Unless they make them into a whole other I guess they could offer them as tower versus standard studio or something like that. And then, yeah,
That's probably what they'll do.
Change point values. But then that gets crazy complicated too, where it's like, well, I want to stay in a studio. Well, there's like 5 different options for studio, because you got the, the regular, and then the preferred view, and then the tower regular, and then the tower preferred view. And it's
a lot of categories.
Yeah. I don't like that, but
yeah, no, I get that. I think it's going to be interesting too, though, that, a lot of these rooms, I mean, half the rooms at this resort are theme park view, right? Like
sure.
One side of the whole one side of the building is theme park view, and the whole other side is not, right? So, you're probably, it's going to be probably a lot of points for theme park view, I would think. And, just in general, because even though this isn't technically on the monorail, it's still a monorail resort, right? Because they're just going to call it,
it's still part of the Polynesian. It's still
part of the Polynesian.
You're still walking, minimum or 5 minutes one way or the other to get to a monorail station. So
exactly. Yeah. But listen, I mean, the more I see of these things, the more I like them. And I've been, this is, I think, the most impressed I've been with the design of these rooms in a while. And I really think they did a great job with this resort. And I know a lot of people were worried, so, about this one in particular. But I hopefully everybody is liking these pictures. And, to your point, I think the idea of adding the dishwashers, I wonder if that came from guest feedback, or if it, I mean, I know they're saying it's in line with their environmental goals, but I'm also thinking it's probably something that guests were requesting too.
I mean, yeah, probably, because like I feel the same way about it. It's like, you talk about sustainability, but then there's just a bunch of plastic utensils in my room.
Exactly.
That doesn't feel right at all. Like even from a guest experience, not even talking about environmental. It's just, I don't want to. I want an actual knife to cut my bagel open, not a plastic.
Not a plastic knife that breaks. And so the other thing we got though too with this is we got the opening date. It's going to be, the anticipated opening date is December 17th of this year. So we've got just about 6 months until they're open, which is not that surprising considering they're starting to do reservations soon here. So
they've actually already started.
Yeah, they did. You're right. So DVC members can book cash reservations already. So
yeah. Sorry. I should have said that. It's cash reservations are open. You can't book on points yet.
I'm going to be interested to see how this one sells. I feel like it's going to be a popular option. I mean, because Poly is always popular. And this is, these are brand new, and they have a really nice view of the park. I feel like this is going to be a popular contract.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that, the thing for me is that I don't have to add on to stay there, which is nice.
Yeah.
But, there may be a discussion about adding on anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on. Anything else you want to mention with this?
No, We're just waiting to see what it looks like when they've done some room tours, but I'm waiting to see more, because I know that other people are going to do takes on it, and once it's actually open and the area and everything is available. I kind of want to see what it looks like or how long it specifically takes to get to the Grand Floridian from there. So that's the only thing I care about.
Quick walk. Yeah, I'm wondering if I could figure this out on Google Maps. But anyway, we'll move on while I do that. But so I saw this article. I thought it was kind of interesting, where one of the Disney blogs has mentioned that they noticed that the Haunted Mansion, the library scene with the bus, where they follow you, when they're watching you, which is a really simple effect, right? It's like a basically not even an effect. It's just
it's an optical illusion.
It's an optical illusion, but they've noticed that Disney seems to be maybe looking to so-called plus this by doing projection mapping on this, where the bus still follows you, but then its facial expressions change as it follows you. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm all for technology making things better, and I think this could be cool, but I also love the simplicity of that old effect too,
But it's not changing the basic effect, though, because
no, it's just making them change their facial expression.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it is a plus, and it doesn't hurt. This is a case where it's not redoing, it's not reimagining, it's literally just adding on to an existing effect. And yeah, they're obviously they're abusing the fact that they know how to do projection mapping very well now. And
yeah,
they're using that to, I think it would be cool, because I think it would be kind of neat, like right now, the busts are very, ominous and expressionless. Like, they're just staring at you, which, that's neat in and of itself. But, kind of the same way, I think about the tombstone, as you're coming into the Haunted Mansion, the Madame Leota tombstone that, occasionally opens its eyes and stuff like that. Right. It takes it to that level, right? Where it's like, you could ride it like 5 times and be like, oh, this is how this room goes. And then you notice that, one of the busts is like winking at you, or, does a weird face that you've never seen before. It just adds to, reasons to get back on the ride again and to, notice more of those details. So I don't see it as a negative, like, or as them doing too much. I think this is actually just it's an obvious cheap win is what I see it as. So yeah.
I agree with that. I do like it. I think it's cool. I'll be interested to see if I wonder why they only did it with one bust. Are they just like slowly integrating it? Like,
it's probably a test. So, maybe somebody probably proposed it and said, I think we could do this. And I wonder if they went, okay, let's try it with one, and then, see how it plays for a bit, and then decide if they want to, expand on it. Like I said, it could be that, they're just trying the basic concept, and then, maybe the idea will be, there's a lot of busts in that room. Like, all of them could be doing different things, which really, like that gives a lot of opportunity for, rewritability on the ride. Like you'll see a whole bunch of new detail that you never saw before.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, I only wanted to talk about that one briefly, but so the first,
that's your fault for bringing it up. So
yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Damon, if this is one you want to talk about, because you're going to, what's that? You're going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
So we're getting our first look now at Disney Lookout Key, right? And at Lighthouse Point. And, I don't know.
Are complaining already, though? Like, people
about
are just
the long walkway?
There's everything. Dude, people
I haven't seen complaining. I saw the long walkway and I was like, whoa, that's really long to walk from the dock.
Yeah. But people are complaining about everything.
What are they complaining about?
I don't know, dude. Everything. Like, because it's not Castaway. Okay, well, it's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be different.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually Pink Beaches. I'm in for Pink Beaches.
Is that one of the things? I hadn't seen that.
I think maybe. I'm not sure. I'm going to know a lot more when I get there.
It's funny because of all the DCL people that I follow and know, I really have only seen a video of them docking. I feel like I haven't seen anything of the actual. The first visit was like what, a couple days ago or last week or something. I don't think it was. Yeah, it was like a couple days ago. Yeah,
I'm sure we'll see more. I don't care. Listen, here's the only thing that I got beef with right now. The snorkels are sold out, and they've been sold out forever. Now, our fault for not doing them earlier, sure, but I don't even take it like that, because if I got earlier, that still means there's another me, right? So if I take somebody's spot, that still means there's somebody else annoyed and disappointed with snorkels, right? So I'll take myself out of the equation. I'm hopeful when we get there that it's one of those things where you can rent them that day. They were just taking who knows? But if we can't snorkel, that will be a little annoying. That's the only thing I would say that I'm kind of like about. But it seems like they've addressed a lot of things. Like listen, Castaway, there's not enough good food options. It seems like there's more stuff there, right, for food.
I think there's a lot of food. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there'll be more options there. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it, but everyone's, enjoyment factor is different. Right? Listen, I complain about whatever I want on this podcast. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be happy with it. It just means I'm not happy with it. And I think that's what people have problem, differentiating. And I think it's the same thing for this. Just because people are complaining about it doesn't mean you're going to complain about it. Like, as I have older kids, I'm looking forward to the cultural part of this. We had talked about doing some stuff, and then my son said, he goes, I don't know if I said this before, he goes, I don't want to be told how to have my fun. This is my 18th.
That's great. Yeah,
Wow.
that's a great. That's so
Okay.
wise.
Because we were going to do one of like the, things, but it was like 4 hours, right? It was like a cave. It looked really cool, but he's like, okay. So we said, fine. I guess our first time there. We're just going to roll with it. Like we'll do whatever.
Do whatever.
It'll be fine. But I am, like I said, the snorkeling, we'll see how that goes. I'm hopeful that the day of they'll get more stuff because why wouldn't they? You know what I mean? That's just weird to me, but it looks like it will be fun.
It looks very. I mean, everything I've seen, it looks very nice. I mean, listen, I haven't been to Castaway. I will next year, but so I can't really make a comparison. But I mean, everything I've seen looks very nice. I also think though that a lot of us, because a lot of people complained about the Disney Wish too, and it's funny because the people I know that are big like DCL people complained about it, but then the people I know that just like go on Disney cruises and are not crazy about it, or were like, oh yeah, it was awesome. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think sometimes we get in like our bubble and it's like we're more critical, because of it.
It's different expectations is what it is.
The other thing too, that feeds directly into what I'm saying. When you over Disney, you cheapen it.
Yeah.
I know people get mad at that, but I feel like it's true. I mean, it's not just Disney. I mean, anything you overdo can cheapen it on vacation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I don't know. I'm excited to go. I think it will be fun. I think it will be interesting. Definitely looking forward to seeing how it all turns out. But I think the cultural part is something I'm really excited to see. And I think that is definitely more with older kids. But I think that, again, it's definitely would be interesting.
So wait, is that next week or is it 2 weeks?
It's not 2 weeks. I think we're leaving the 19th.
Okay, so
10 days from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're driving
2 Wednesdays.
Yeah, so we'll be there Tuesday, right? Just outside of the port. I think we're driving Tuesday morning, and then, like I said, my wife and other son are flying. We'll meet them there on the 18th. Get up, go on the ship on the 19th. Try to avoid all the people that we're probably going to know on the ship, and then have a good time, hopefully.
All right. Yeah. Cool. I'm excited to hear about it for sure.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I don't know. Like, I mean, when I come back, so it will be maybe the 30th the 30th before I talk about it. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be a couple shows before you get to talk about it. But yeah. We're definitely looking forward to hearing about it.
Just make sure you take pictures and not videos, and then.
I'll take a little bit of both. How's that sound?
Yeah.
There you go. Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. Just keep the camera low. Don't be that person with the camera above your head.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Dan, you need to get one of those little short selfie sticks that the influencers use, so you can walk around the park. With it showing your face, and also
I would love just to slap every single one of them to the ground.
No.
Not the people, the sticks. Let's
make sure I'm out of their hands. Yeah.
Here's the most unhinged thing you could do is so you double down on it where you take
and just jump in the video.
No, you get the selfie stick, but then you get an iPad and you put the iPad on a selfie stick.
I wonder,
and hold it over your head.
While you were at Disney, you just jumped into every influencer's video. I guess they'd probably just edit you out, unfortunately.
Just follow them around.
Not unless they're doing live streams, but
not even follow them around. Just randomly, everyone you see, just like hop in for like, yo.
Yeah, just pop in the background like a cast,
So I've heard people doing this where like. When an influencer is like standing in line and like, because you know how they'll do that, like they'll get in line for a ride and they're like live streaming or whatever.
Yeah.
People will actually start playing copyrighted music because then the video gets flagged and because of the copyrighted music. So
yeah, I guess that's I wouldn't do that. I'd just be like, yeah, let me jump in all these videos. That would be funny.
I'm telling you, on my last trip, I saw a shocking amount of people do it with the little tiny selfie sticks doing live streams or whatever they were doing.
Well, it's not even influence; it's just random people now, just like because they want to have the video for themselves, which is even crazier. Like, what are you doing with a inline ride video? Like for real?
I know these are just people walking around though too. I'm just like, why? Why are we doing this? Like, maybe we're just old and cranky and yelling.
No, what it should be.
I mean,
this is what it should be. You can, if you're going to do it like walking around and videoing, like there should be some level of check. Like, okay, if you have 100,000 people on Instagram, fine. Like, all right, but like the people that are like Instagram 100 people and like think they're a Disney influencer, like, dude, that's not it. That's not.
Yeah.
I guess everyone's got to start somewhere, though.
For me, the line is so that I feel there's two different types of people that do the walking around and filming. Is there are like people who do live streams where they don't really talk. They're basically just like showing off the Disney ambience and or they talk minimally, like and you can tell that they're very respectful of like the people around them.
Yeah,
that I feel, and this is the hard part, is that those I feel are okay because they're not getting in line. They're not like on a ride, filming and being disruptive. They're being very respectful. But I think what you're talking about. These other ones where they're like shouting out to their listeners and they're just constantly talking and it's like it's this whole like that it's all about them and that everybody else around them is just like a backdrop in their
story.
But here's the big question.
I don't like that.
Benefit to Disney. There's no benefit for these influencers. I don't care to take some of the top influencers for Disney. What are they giving Disney? Either the people that are watching the influencers' content. Is that stopping them or helping them to plan a Disney vacation? I don't think so. I think they're either planning that vacation or not regardless.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like somebody streaming Tron for the first time on the first night, right? Or even the first week. Is that influencing people's vacation planning? I can't imagine that it is.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I don't like, I guess the kind of people that are, to your point, people that are watching those kinds of things, they're already excited about Disney and they're watching it because they want to watch Disney stuff. Is it bringing more people to the table for Disney? Probably not. Like that's a fair point. I don't, these influencers are definitely benefiting themselves, but
yes. But like if I go to this island, right, and there's 100 people all filming, why?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you're going to have some of that, but not as much as the
definitely
first.
Definitely going to have some of that.
Yeah.
What would be amazing is that if I could see a stitch of you jumping between all these people's videos, we could actually like watch you moving around the island through multiple videos. That would be amazing.
That's what you do, David. You have somebody in your family film you interrupting everyone else's influencing videos.
Oh my goodness!
No, you don't have to because you're on everybody else's video. You see, you can just
it'd be like more
together.
Like a multiverse sort of feel. I feel like
but
I wouldn't do it. My son would
face,
100% do it though.
Yeah, but now you're gonna that would make you reveal your face. You haven't done that ever.
No, I said my son would do it. He would definitely would do it.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be funny. Yeah, but it'll be an interesting thing. Yeah, what's next?
That concludes our complaining about influencer portion of the show, I guess. Right? Let's do our ad, and then we'll talk about some other things. All right. So the sponsor of this episode is DVC Rental Store. The DVC Rental Store, a World of DVC company, offers magical vacations at incredible value. Save up to 60% off retail rates at premium Disney resorts. DVC Rental Store now includes deposits as low as 25% at the time of booking and a built-in cancellation policy for every reservation. And as always, DVC Rental Store pays out the most to members looking to rent their points. Want to learn more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com/welcome home or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 1-855-382-7368. And be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you. All right. So there's a lot of discussion about this article we're going to talk about right here. Although,
okay,
yeah, let's get into it.
So start with the headline, and then
because the headline I feel like is not.
I gotta find it.
Yeah, so Disney in Florida planning new development agreement worth up to $17 billion would add a fifth park at Walt Disney World. Now, that last part after the comma...
Hold up. Yeah.
based on what I've read, feels like a bit of a stretch of the truth. But let's look at this a little bit. So basically, for those that don't know, Disney, had the whole fight with the state of Florida. They settled that. And part of that was creating a new development agreement. And so what this agreement's going to be. And by the way, this already got approved by the board that they need preliminarily approved, and they're going to do a final vote on it this coming week. But what they're saying is up to $17 billion investment from Disney over the next 10 to 20 years. It does require them to make at least an initial investment of $8 billion in the first 10 years of the agreement. So over the next 10 years, they have to spend at least $8 billion at Disney World. And that's including existing infrastructure, new construction, and technology investment. Then there's also a, quote, minimum development of 5 major theme parks in Orlando. And that's where they're going with the 5th park. But I don't necessarily know if that's what that means.
I think that bottom part is even more interesting, though, moving 2,000 parks and experienced product staffers to Florida from California.
Yeah, so part of it, too, is that there's a provision in there that Disney may convert hotel or motel land use entitlements up to an additional 225,000 gross square feet of office uses within the property. So like you said, Damon, this is, they initially were going to move a lot of Imagineering people over to Florida, and then they stopped doing that after, when the whole fight happened. But it kind of seems like this provision would make that happen again, or at least give them the option to, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that maybe that's the thing is if they're forcing it, then they're just back in the position that they were before with their Imagineers, where people are leaving over it, which is fair, because I would not want to be somewhere where, they're telling me to move across
to move there.
the continent, back and forth. But yeah, so the 5th theme park thing, I feel like the way that it's written, they talk about 5 major theme parks, but I feel like they could be lumping in the water parks with this. I just don't believe that Disney is at the point yet where they're announcing a 5th gate. I know everyone's saying, Epic Universe and all that, but Disney's they're not competing with gates. They're not
you open a new park, we're going to open a new park. It has to be justified, I feel. And also the fact that, we already know about the expansion coming to Magic Kingdom and all that. I don't see how Disney is going to do a 5th gate in the next 10 years if they're doing all this other stuff. Right? It does. It just too much to focus on. Yeah. It's too much to focus on, right? I mean, a whole new park is one thing. If you're expanding all the other parks at the same time, that's a lot of work. That's crazy. But I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen. It could,
I feel like, a lot of people may be sleeping on this, but, and I think this, Damon, Volcano Bay is a pretty amazing water park that, the Disney water parks they're not near that level.
Because I
haven't even been to Volcano Bay yet. I keep saying that we should go, and it makes me mad that I haven't.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, I thought you had gone, but I don't know if you've watched. Right. You went. Okay. Yeah, that's right. You went to Aquatica. Yeah. But if you watch the videos of Volcano Bay, it's a crazy good water park, and it feels like this may be the thing is everyone's like, oh boy, they're going to open a 5th gate, and it's like, no, they're actually just Typhoon Lagoon is going to be due for a major overhaul, is what it is.
Yeah,
or something.
Exactly.
I could see it going that
Volcano Bay is much newer than those other 2 parks, right? Those Disney's 2 water parks are pretty old at this point, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like I said, I feel like that everyone assumes 5th gate means 5th theme park, but technically Disney already has 6 theme parks if you want to count both of the water parks as individual ones, but I kind of lump them together because they're both, they're both kind of doing the same thing. And in terms of actual space utilization, everything, I would feel that they could count them both as about the same size as a theme park.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And interestingly enough, Trevor, the other sources have actually stated this in a different way. So the article we're reading is from Deadline, which is, a legitimate news source, but the Orlando Sentinel is saying, quote, 5 major theme parks. So it authorizes a maximum of 5 major theme parks. So what does that mean?
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's and then it also allows for a maximum of 5 minor theme parks, such as a water park and office space or retail space, whatever. But it's kind of odd language, I feel like.
It is. And okay, I guess if they're drawing the line where a water park is a minor theme park,
I guess it would be, right?
yeah. I mean, but I don't know. I guess what like I can't even fathom what a fifth gate would even bring at this point. Like what are you doing with a fifth gate?
I mean, I'm sure they have some ideas.
I don't know. What would you even make that fifth gate? I agree.
Yeah,
it's because whenever they made it, people would be like, "Why'd you do that?"
What in the Disney universe? What's not covered by the existing parks?
Marvel. I mean,
right?
Right?
I mean, on the East Coast, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt they would make an entire Marvel theme park, though. That's a lot.
That would be cool.
It would probably be pretty cool, actually.
Like people don't seem like. I guess this is me. I haven't been there yet myself. I'll be there next year, but from what I've read about the Avengers campus in California, it's not like it's okay, but it's not like the reason you're going to California Adventure.
That one seems like it suffered a little bit from budget cuts, and because they were supposed to have an e-ticket attraction there too, and and they also just kind of squeezed that into an existing part of the park, right? If we're talking like a brand new park, you can do anything, right? But
even then, Marvel, like, okay, so you do more Avengers stuff, like it kind of hits the same problem as Star Wars Land, where it like, and actually I read some people talking about this the other day that I this is what I agree with, is that Star Wars Land is incredibly pretty, but there's nothing going on. It's a big empty space.
Sure.
Like if you really think,
which is not what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be people walking around, interacting with you,
Yeah, there's nothing like really interactive or fun about it. So it's like if they build a Marvel park, and if it's just like, okay, here's a bunch of Marvel stuff, but same problem that, they're not doing anything with the space. Like, do I really want a fifth gate? But I guess then, the flip side of that is, if you make a fifth gate and everybody's going there, then the other parks aren't as busy, which yay for me, I, less wait for the rides I want to go on. So,
what's interesting about this, if you look at this too, though, like $8 billion over 10 years is a lot of money. I mean, I know we kind of,
they had
Disney,
60.
It's $8 billion. Yeah.
But this is 8 of the 60 billion that they had slated for theme parks globally.
That they have to use, though. They can use more than that. They just have to spend a minimum of $8 billion the first 10 years, and it says up to $17 billion, right? So, the interesting part about this, though, and they mentioned this in the article, that Disney's planning on the Disneyland Forward, project that they're working on. That's going to cost about $2 billion. So you think about the extent of Disneyland Forward, and that's only going to be $2 billion. Multiply that by 4. It's a lot more money. And I mean, I know they have a lot more space and a lot more places.
The requirements are different in Florida.
They are. They are very different. But the other part is, though, too, that they mentioned somewhere in here too that they were going to have, it was going to create like 10,000 jobs or something like that as well. Yeah, hire over 10,000 new parks employees in the state over 10 years. That to me almost does point to a new park, right? Because, like, I mean, 10,000 people is a lot of people. That's not just like construction workers to build stuff. That's like, everyday cast members working the parks. Like, what are you going to add that's going to require 10,000 new employees?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're still understaffed with the existing parks. So,
yeah, well, that's
that too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they already have a hard time.
Yeah. If they added a whole bunch of new people, they could actually bring back like the sending merchandise to your hotel room stuff and all that, right? Because there are things that they don't do now because they don't have the staff to do it.
Yeah, because they can't find people, right? I've heard that's a problem still. They still can't find people. But
it's that they're choosing not to. Saying that they can't find people, it's also that they're not making it attractive enough to to have people working there at the moment.
It's true, but I mean, I know they've had a shortage of bus drivers and housekeeping people for like a long time now. Like that's been a major problem for them for many years.
You mean people didn't want to wait around for a couple of years for things to kick back up again?
Well, no, this was a problem like back in 2018, like pre-pandemic. I mean, they had problems with getting bus drivers and housekeeping people. I remember they were like doing like bonuses and stuff like that for them specific, like sign-on bonuses because they couldn't get enough people. But I don't know, who knows?
Yeah,
but yeah, I do find this whole thing interesting. I think it's the headline of this is, almost clickbaity, like saying add a fifth park, but I don't think that's what it really says,
Yeah, it's very open, and like you said, it's up to 5 parks. So it's, I guess it's, the point is it's not off the table. It's not that it'll never happen, but I'm also not, I think we've learned over time that, until something actually starts happening, even, initial, like, blue sky concepts and stuff, like, cause we saw this for the last couple of years is, Disney will talk about blue sky stuff and everyone gets excited about it. But until it actually starts happening, I'm not inclined to devote any of my energy to being excited about it because, this whole thing about up to 5 parks, I'm sure there's people out there going, I can't wait for Disney's 5th park. And it's like, and then when it doesn't happen, they get mad and say, Disney, you promised. And it's like, no, you didn't. Like,
no, they never did. They never said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because this article says minimum development and the Orlando Sentinel one says maximum development. So like obviously someone is incorrect here. So because those are, they're two different things, right? I mean, like a minimum development, yeah, that kind of to me says that they will build another park. But if it's maximum, that's a whole different thing. That's just letting them do up to that amount, right? So
it's flexibility without committing to it.
Yeah, because minimum makes it a requirement. And remember, this is an agreement that they're doing with the special district that they're in. So, I'm sure there's ways for Disney to get out of it, but they pretty much need to follow through with this if they're going to sign this agreement. So yeah, I guess we're gonna see. I don't want anybody to read this and just immediately think they're adding into 5th park, which is what I've seen as the discourse on the internet. I just don't believe that that's what it's going to be. It could be. It really could be. We'll have to see.
We'd be pleasantly surprised to be wrong, but yeah, I guess we've talked about stuff like this in the past. Even talking about Reflections, and we were like, oh, this is happening, and then it got put on hold, and we know it's still happening, but it's this whole thing of like, setting expectations that like, oh, Disney's building this thing and it's going to happen in the next 2 years or the next 3 years or whatever, until it actually starts getting built. Like I'm not believing anything at this point because there's a lot of ideas getting thrown around, and even like you said, these agreements, that Disney's not going to paint themselves in a corner on something that they can't do, right?
Yeah,
like if they realize that there's no feasible way for them to do a 5th park, I would hope at this point that they know better than to commit to something like that. I could be wrong, like maybe.
No, I think you're right.
Maybe they'll I guess like they kind of did that with California Adventure initially, where they tried to build it on a very poor budget, and the results of that was a very poor park. I would hope that, Disney's smart enough now not to overcommit on something that they know they can't deliver.
Yeah, I would hope that that's the case. It's funny because I quote this a lot. I'm sure people are tired of me here talking about it. The Imagineering story. They talk about the time like California Adventure when the budget was cut and they were making this park for way less than what they should have been making it for. And, they talked to Michael Eisner, who a lot of people view as, the best Disney CEO. And he has a quote on that documentary saying, a lot of people say that, when you cut the budget or when you have a constrained budget, that it makes things, not as good a quality. But his belief is that it forces people to be more creative. And I was like, I don't know if that's true. I think all the Imagineers would disagree with you on that.
I don't think that's right. It's definitely good.
Such a businessman thing to say, though.
But cutting costs does not motivate people. And if you want something good, you need to motivate people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to talk about some Tiana stuff and then get out of here?
Yeah.
Because we do have another thing on our list, but we realize that it's way too big of a topic to talk about on this episode. So
yeah, I think we should sideline that, and yeah, let's go to the Tiana stuff. And so the merch has dropped, which
It looks okay.
yeah, there's some cool stuff in here. Yeah, go ahead, Trevor. What are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that the color palettes and everything very much fit with like the whole vibe of Tiana as it is. And it's like that New Orleans color palette, right? Which, I like that. It's nice stuff. Like I really don't have.
I can't believe there's a restaurant fund coffee can though. That's
oh
fun.
Yeah, it's from the movie though. Like that's
I know, but I'm just
Yeah.
surprised that they're selling something like that.
I can see my daughter buying that though. Like my daughter,
I definitely could, as well. I just think the food stuff is interesting. Plus, the mugs are good.
Yeah. Did you see the sipper? The sipper that they have, where the straw is on the outside and it kind of goes around. I don't think it's in this article. I saw it somewhere else.
Sippers are tough for me. I don't know. This Typhoon Lagoon one that I have that Katie got for me is cool, but I don't know. Outside of that, one is easy to display. More than one is tough.
Yeah, I get that. This wouldn't be a display item, though. If we bought this, my daughter would use this all the time. You know what I mean? If we got the zipper.
The Spirit jersey looks interesting. I like it, but I feel like people are either like totally in or totally out on Spirit jerseys.
Yep, I agree.
I'm
totally out.
Yeah.
It's not
The
my
dress
thing.
is cute, though, too.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff here. Like my daughter would really like a lot of this because she loves Tiana. But by the way, I need to mention this. I've been seeing a lot of people going to previews, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff on social media about the ride breaking down and getting evacuated and stuff. And it's like, what do you guys think previews are for?
Exactly.
Right?
Like,
Everyone thinks they're special, and previews should just be for them to go see the ride without anybody else. Not
that's
that
what
they
it
help
seems
out
like.
at all.
Yeah. Like, people don't seem to understand the previews are like so they can run the ride at full capacity and see what breaks and what they need to fix and what's not working and what is working. Like, that's the whole point of previews.
It's the same thing as in gaming when companies offer beta tests for games. And I always laugh when people are like, oh, I got into the beta test for this game, and they're all excited. And they're like, this sucks. It was so buggy.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a beta test. Like, it's not
the idea.
It's not live. Like these previews, they're beta tests, and people don't want to admit that because, like you said, they want to feel like they're getting the VIP first crack at it, but you also have to accept that it's going to break down.
Yeah, like that's
know how
part
I feel
of it.
about this ride.
I mean, I thought the videos looked great. You haven't liked it? I mean,
I don't know. I do tend to agree with, like, I don't know. Like, the stuff is good, but I feel like it just could have been a little bit more. I don't know.
like, what else are you looking for?
I don't know. Just
the
I
villains
guess
not
some
in
people
there?
complain about some dead spots.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And if you watch the video, there definitely are some kind of dead spots. And I feel like, did there need to be dead spots? I mean, even if there was in the previous ride, that doesn't matter for this ride. Like, I just feel like there's a couple of spots. I mean, just in rides in general. I mean, don't you always feel like there's a spot where it's like, not that they mailed it in, but you're like, all right, yeah, there's a sign.
Get past this. We got to
Right.
get
Like
past this spot to get to
Like there's like a weird corner and there's like nothing in the corner, and you're
It's just like a sign, or like, look out below, or coming up, like on the left. Like, I don't know. I just feel like
the
if you're
majority
going to
of things
rehash
I
a
feel like.
ride, like, totally immerse me, like, make everything super duper immersive. And
I mean-
that's just nitpicky about it, but because the ride itself is not changing, right? Really, you're just obviously right a retheme. But if you're going to retheme as your kind of thing, then don't give me little dead spots. I want to be covered in, Louisiana everywhere I go.
I didn't see too many dead spots in the videos, but maybe I just wasn't looking for that. I don't know. And I watched the official video from Disney, so
Yeah,
maybe they cut
people
some
were
of that out.
complaining about that as well.
Were they?
People
What?
complain about everything.
What's their issue with the official video?
I don't know. I think they were saying that the way that it was filmed, who knows? I mean, I think the problem is,
Okay.
like we talked about, if Disney wanted to do all the POVs, then no one else needs to do POVs, right? They're beating
Yeah.
everyone to the punch, which is what they should be doing.
And that's what they have done this time, which I actually think is great, because it takes, back to, we were talking about bad influencers, right? I know that
it didn't stop like a million people from having them though.
Oh yeah, they're all over the place. Yeah.
but it's funny because it does take a lot of a lot of people in the past would have been like waiting for those influencers to show them the ride. But then it's like, oh, well, Disney showed us, if Disney's showing us the ride first, but that does take away some of their viewership.
Video is 11th in my Google.
Yeah. That's weird. Yeah.
Which is crazy to me, right?
Because they haven't done this stuff enough yet that it's got the traction, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that they're now wading into what is already a very established ecosystem of people filming ride POVs, right? So
I like it though. I wish they would do that all the time. Now, what's funny
I hope they do more too. Yeah, I agree. Too.
Theirs is over 500,000, and everyone else's is like languishing now because there's 24K, 19K, 15K. Because I'm gonna skip past all of them and watch the Disney one.
I would rather watch the official Disney one, especially since they have a legit camera that's mounted to the ride vehicle, which no one else can do except for them.
Yeah, they get better POVs than anybody else because, like you said, they can control exactly where the camera sits on the ride. It's not somebody trying to swing around their phone or whatever, right?
But it's interesting that the Disney POV is they tried to make it like a real POV because there's there's people on the ride in front of the Disney POV.
Yeah.
So
which it makes me feel like they did it on purpose though.
Like they didn't clear out the ride and they just were like, hey, go on the ride. I'm going to throw this camera on and we're going to film it. Right?
Yeah. And what I saw too is that the other POVs for, some of the other people are usually one focal point. Like it's usually either straight ahead or the Disney POV is nice because they know what to film, right?
Exactly.
And they could film it 3-4 times. And I just like theirs better. So yeah, I hope this is a trend and we get these and it makes everyone else not want to do these anymore.
Would that be nice? It's funny though. To your point though, Damon, I feel like I didn't see a lot of dead spots in theirs, but maybe they cut them out though.
I'm just watching it again and there's a million dead spots. The whole going up with there's literally painted marshmallows or whatever, or sugar cube. What, I don't even know what these things are on the left. Dude, that's not good. Why? Why can't I get more there? It's just a painted sign right in the beginning of the ride on the left.
Oh, you're talking about right at the beginning of the ride, just the painted
why can't I get something there? And then when I get up and
they do on the lift hill though. They have an animatronic on the lift hill.
Yeah, they do have an animatronic, but why can't I get something right there too? You know what I mean though? I don't know, man.
They spent all their money on the
Okra,
state of the art animatronics.
The state of the art Okra, the wiggling Okra.
Okra.
It's the antithesis of rhubarb. I can't like the ride anymore.
Oh, no.
Is it though? All right. So should we talk food?
In Damon's universe, yes, it is.
No, we should never talk food.
I thought you said you were intrigued by the food for this. Did you not?
I was intrigued by the food, in the snacks in the store. You're going to talk about,
but not the food. Hot food and stuff. No,
never.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that then.
I like the fact
we haven't talked about food in forever. So.
I just want to call out that they're offering spices reflective of the ride because you can buy those spice jars for making different things.
The question is, how much are those spice jars?
Does it matter?
$37. I don't know.
It kind of does matter.
Why though? Well, because I guess if I'm taking it home to get to cook these things at home, it's a one-time purchasing. Yeah, I get. Yeah, if it's $40 for a spice jar,
you're definitely having a suitcase full of meat seasoning by mistake, though. If you take these home, I feel like that's definitely happening to somebody. They're definitely getting gumbo base all over their clothes and stuff for sure.
If you don't pack your stuff correctly, absolutely. But it's the thing that I like about it though, conceptually, is that there's a lot of there's a lot of food stuff in various rides. Like, this is something where they could bring it. Like I said, people get excited about food, but also with, some of these rides and some of these experiences at Disney. And I'm more inclined to bring something like this home and be able to go like, oh, I want to make like, a New Orleans themed meal at home where I can, sit and, remember about something that we did on our trip. And to me, that feels a lot more memorable than just like buying a cup or some, plastic figurine or something. Like it has a lot more potential to me as like, these are the kinds of things that I would be looking for to buy from a theme park than just the standard like merchandise. Right.
Well, and this is a company from New Orleans too. It's not like Disney made this up. It's like a famous place in New Orleans, right? So, although I'm not familiar with this place, I don't think I've ever heard of it, but apparently it's famous. So, how about we talk about the other food though that they're going to have, right? So whereas in Disneyland they have the restaurant, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have the restaurant yet at Disney World. I say yet because there's a lot of talk that it might happen, but. So they're kind of spreading out Tiana themed and New Orleans themed food throughout a bunch of different places. So, for example, Golden Oak Outpost, which if you don't know where that is, if you're facing Space Mountain, you're facing Tiana, right? And you go to the left, there's like it's like a wagon, right? And there's been stuff, they rotate stuff through there all the time. I remember I got like cheese waffle fries there one time. But, that has a variety of different stuff all the time. And they're going to have hot honey chicken with sweet potato fries, which is actually chicken nuggets tossed in hot honey. So it's not like a sandwich like you would typically see.
Yeah. And then, I was on board until I realized it was chicken nuggets. Yeah.
You know what, though? It looks good in the picture. I'm not a big sweet potato fry guy, though. So, and then there's a shrimp gumbo with sweet potato fries. So shrimp and andouille sausage, gumbo topped with Cajun spices.
They should just ban you from the park for that remark.
What's that?
They should ban you from the you shouldn't be allowed to ride the ride.
For what reason? Why?
Not liking sweet potato fries.
I don't like sweet potato fries. It's not my thing.
That's okay. They just shouldn't allow you on the ride. That's all.
Give me a tot. Give me a fry. I mean, regular fry. I mean,
you just can't ride Tiana's. That's all.
Yeah,
but that's. I mean, all right, fine.
What if there were rules like that, though?
You need rules like that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Like there's sweet potato fries at the beginning of the ride. You have to eat one, otherwise you can't
eat one before you go.
Would you be able to do that though? You'd be able to stop.
Yeah, listen. I will eat them. I've eaten them before. I don't mind them. They're just not my preference. That's all.
Yeah, I feel like there's things like I hate seafood, but if you're like, you need to eat a shrimp to go on the ride, like, okay, I'm eating that shrimp. Like, not loving it, but I'm eating it.
Then they also have the beignets. I'm definitely going to eat the beignets, though.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I love a good beignet. Yeah, I love a good beignet, and it's nice that they have those there. So, and then over at Pinocchio Village House, we have a peach cobbler, which has a little Tiana chocolate piece in the top. But I forget what we named these, Trevor, a while ago, but like where they just take a dessert and throw like a theme thing on it.
Yeah, these are the low hanging fruit. Like,
yeah,
it's not actual theming. It's like just like, printing stickers and throwing them on stuff.
Yeah, we've got a peach cobbler. Let's throw some Tiana on there. I will say, so over at the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor, there's also a butter pecan praline sundae. Now that sounds pretty good. I'm not a big butter pecan person, but I would try. I like the praline flavor, right?
Yeah,
but like a good praline.
And I guess they don't even mention that there's anything like theme to it. It's like, is there a Tiana something on that too? Like,
yeah.
Because I guess that's the thing is this is the hard part is them spreading it out around the park. Like, obviously they're promoting the Tiana's Bayou Adventure stuff, but it's like, some of these things are like, foods that come from like New Orleans area and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I don't know the difference necessarily. I'm not paying that big of an attention to it when I'm in the parks. But like you said, yeah, if it's like, oh, there's a praline sundae, yeah, I'm going to try that. But it's not because I'm excited about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It's because I want a praline sundae.
Yeah, like they could just put that in there without the Tiana piece, right? Like they could just
Yeah.
do that on a random, July, and everyone would be like, "Ooh, butter pecan praline sundae." Like, they don't have to have a New Orleans themed ride to do that. I will say, so then we got at the plaza. There's a Tiana's Chantilly cake. It's vanilla chiffon cake, lemon chantilly, and fresh strawberries topped with fondant flour and a Tiana chocolate piece. That sounds pretty
Yeah.
good. And it looks good. No, this one they themed a little bit more. Okay,
Yeah,
they themed this
the
one a
cake.
little more.
You're right. The cake actually looks good, and again, they're very like slapping you in the face with the Tiana wafer on top. Yeah. I mean, that almost felt unnecessary actually in that case. Like the cake itself is like, it's pretty clearly like themed to like her dress and everything. They could have not put the
They could have been more subtle. They could have been subtle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we come to the sipper that I was talking about. I forgot that it was in this article. So this is the Tiana sipper, which it has, if you haven't seen it, it has a figure of Tiana on the top with a straw that goes around the outside. And also it looks like it has, what is it, Lewis on there?
Yeah.
And
Lou.
that's, yeah. So, I mean, I think it's pretty cool looking. I know if my daughter saw it, she would want it immediately. Like it'd be one of those things like, I want that cup. And I would be like, okay, probably you can have that. Because I'm really bad about saying no on vacation. Really bad about it.
That straw seems like a lot of work though.
To clean up. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to clean up, but also like because it spirals around the cup. Yeah. Like you're working to like you're not sipping, you're like tiring out your mouth.
I feel like as long as you don't have like a milkshake or a slushie, I feel like you'd be okay.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, you imagine trying to drink a thick milkshake through that.
No, that's not happening. Yeah.
That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all.
Yeah, and like you said, cleaning this thing afterwards, like it looks nice and everything, but how are you running that through? Or you're not running through your dishwasher, so how are you cleaning it? Right.
It's a valid point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like it nonetheless. And then they've got at the Main Street Confectionery, they got some popcorn mixes, some, just some different popcorn mixes. We don't necessarily need to go into those, but they do have some bagged Tiana themed treats, which, if you go into like the confectionery, they have like, the Donald themed ones, the Mickey, the Minnie, they've Chip and Dale themed ones, but they really haven't had like Tiana ones before. And so this one, they have green apple gummy frogs, and then they have a spicy butter toffee peanut one that's actually themed to the ride. It's got characters from the ride in it, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool that they're going to do that. I mean,
spicy butter toffee though. I don't know how
you feel about that.
Spicy and sweet. I guess that works.
Yeah.
I guess it's like the hot honey chicken. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. And then over at Amorette's, they have a vanilla cake bar, very basically named there, and it just says vanilla cake bar as the it doesn't say any details about the flavors. It's just a vanilla cake bar. It looks like a popsicle, but it's obviously cake. It's like a cake pop that looks like a popsicle.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
With was a fleur de lis on it, which little New Orleans theming. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I mean, I think that's pretty much it, but there's some good looking stuff. I mean, there's this lily pad, Rice Krispie treat, but okay, whatever.
It's a Rice Krispie treat.
Yeah, with some green frosting on the top. I mean, okay, cool.
It looks like, I mean, you could also double that for Pac-Man too. If you turn it sideways, it could be a Pac-Man Rice Krispie treat.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, you could. That's a good point. All right, why don't we wrap up here? I think.
Yeah.
I already, ruined my prediction to my wife of an hour-long show. I blame Damon this week, though. Damon brought up a good topic in the beginning. And
you can definitely blame me this time. I don't normally take the blame, but this week I will.
Okay, that's good. I'll blame you. All right, let's wrap it up, Trevor.
Yeah. All right. So it's Damon's fault, and if you want to let Damon know, you can always find us.
1-star reviews. No, I'm
kidding. 5-star reviews about how much Damon.
Are we getting closer? I tried to do the math in my head, but are we getting closer to 4.6, 4.7? I couldn't do the math that quickly.
We're trying to. I mean, we got a bunch of 5-star reviews recently, so thank you for everybody that
is somebody that can do math. Figure it out. We're at 4.5 for like 350. How many 5-star reviews do we need to get to 4.6?
I mean, isn't your kid a data scientist? You know, maybe he could do it
He's
for
playing
us.
soccer, man. I guess when he comes home.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
It's hard to get your kids to do stuff for you, even when it's their profession. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. You're not speaking anything that's not true there. That's for sure.
but yeah, so if you guys want to reach out to us about anything about the show, you can find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We do love hearing from you guys. You know, people share their trip reports and ask us questions and stuff. So you can always find us there. On social media, you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. On Facebook, make sure you do check out our group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, where we have all of our listeners get together and talk about things from the show and share their own experiences and, all that great stuff. Just, a good Disney group to be part of. And it's fun. You should check it out if you haven't.
Yeah.
Why not? And also, if you want to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and you can check out our different merch there. And, there's I almost said hats. We don't have hats. The hats are only if you can find them.
There's no hats. Yeah.
But yeah, you can find t-shirts and fanny packs and mugs and all kinds of stuff. So make sure you have a look there if you're, maybe needing some shirts for your next trip. And, again, just help support the show. We also do have a Patreon for the same reason. You can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod. Check out our different Patreon support levels there. The Patreon merch is an exclusive logo that you can only get on Patreon. And all of our Patreon listeners get access to the Discord server, which is yet another place that we love talking with you guys.
Are we gonna offer shirts there first? We're doing this Eras shirt, even though Ashley.
Oh, are we doing it?
I don't know. Even though Ashley didn't get back to me, I asked about it and she didn't get back to me. I had to go look it up on myself. Heaven forbid I had to Google something without something.
Yeah.
Somebody.
I've seen this shirt a lot. A lot of people are doing takes on this shirt right now. It's a big.
Yeah, the Taylor Swift Eras shirt. Yes, I've seen it as well. I saw you guys we're starting a conversation about it, but yeah,
it's not a bad idea.
For our listeners, if you guys want to see it, make sure you leave us a 5-star review and let us know.
There you go. It would definitely be a little different. But
yeah, it's not a bad idea. I like the idea of it. Just
what would it be though? It would be like
our original logo,
country, or no, just the logos.
Is it? We could do logos. We could also do the.
Would we have to bring Tom's logo back?
The original one, like the real original one,
like
the train icon.
Oh man, that one! I don't think we ever actually used that one. I think that one was just because we had one for a while that was just a picture of Spaceship Earth, and it was just said "Welcome Home Podcast" on it.
One.
I did make a train one that was terrible.
Yeah, but at the time he was telling us how good it was.
No, it was not. I've never claimed to be good at a.
It was good for a podcast of people that couldn't, none of us were like Photoshop gurus.
Yeah. I don't think I ever said it was good. I'm terrible at Photoshop. I have no artistic abilities. So, yeah. But we could do that. I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be cool.
So yeah, like I said, if you guys want to see that, leave us a 5-star review and let us know that you want to see an Eras shirt because, hey, 5-star reviews.
Type shirt.
Eras type shirt. Yes.
Damon doesn't want to get sued by Taylor Swift,
and we reserve the right to completely go off the rails and be unhinged with it because
exactly. Yeah.
So
I'm on the Patreon side. I do like this logo a lot.
Which one?
The Patreon one.
Oh yeah,
it just happened to be over there. Yeah. I think I like it better than our new one, to be honest with you.
Oh wow, yeah, I do like the Patreon logo. I will say.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's why we put it on Patreon because I think we all agreed that we like it. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I said. Either way, leave us a review. Tom already shouted out one of our reviews at the beginning of the episode. I just want to mention that, we have been seeing everyone leaving your reviews. We will, continue to read out reviews. And yeah, we just appreciate people giving us feedback on the show because, we love seeing that. And yeah, get us however many 5-star reviews we need to get up to like 4.6, 4.7.
I think 4.6 Tom would be happy.
I'd be pretty happy at 4.6. I feel like that's pretty good. Because you're never going to make everybody happy no matter what you do, right? Like, so,
people
I've
think
always
you're supposed to, though.
I know. I know. Like there's a
This is just a bunch of boxes. I don't think we have enough logos for this.
yeah, that's true. We don't have enough for the eras.
We have, like,
We'd have to
3.
do like a modified version of it. Yeah.
We need to get some AI generated logos going and just see how.
I'm going to tell you,
Rails
I've
goes.
been doing some BSC Kids ones. I put one in the group.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. They're getting good. They're getting good. Like the one I put in the group and is pretty cool actually.
And you know, your golden button one was pretty much AI generated, except you had somebody do it.
Yeah.
But you know, the idea of it, you know, your initial thought of it ended up, you know, you
Yeah.
get through AI, right?
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
Anyway.
I think I've covered all my stuff.
Tom, go to the pool.
Yeah.
don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any place you can find podcasts, you can find us. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company. As such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult your DVC representative or Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. A huge thank you to the sponsor of this episode, DVC Rental Store, and of course, World of DVC for continuing to support the show and having supported us for many, many years now. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.